clue about that, though. Not even Tanner. And I wanted to keep it that way. My life before I crashed my car, died, and crossed over into Eastwind was literally another lifetime ago. After being in this small town for nearly a third of a year, settling in, working my butt off, and actually becoming a part of a community, I had no desire for the old Nora to peek her lonely head in here and expose me for who I used to be. A type A, go-getter loner, trying to win the approval of unpleasant people who didn't care if I was happy or sad, lived or died. At Medium Rare, I was surrounded by werewolves and ghosts and shapeshifters, and even death itself, though he preferred if people called him Ted. Yet despite the obvious dangers associated with so many fangs and voracious appetites, I felt safer in Eastwind than I had back in Austin. "Morning, Hyacinth," I said, pouring coffee for Mrs. Bouquet. "How are things down at Echo's?" "Oh, you know," she said. "Fine. All the gossip about you-know-who is finally starting to grow dull, even for Ladavian. Although, actually, I think Echo might have finally put his hoof down and told Ladavian to knock it off. Once the shock value of having a murderer on staff wears off, all that's left is a public relations mess. At least, that's what Echo was ranting about in the Liar Lounge the other night." "Liar Lounge?" I asked. "Oh, Nora, dear, you must spend a little less time at work and a little more time going out and having fun. Liar Lounge is just down the block from Echo's salon. It's where those unwilling to slum it up in Sheehan's pub go to end their evening in a more sophisticated way." "I'm not sure if I would fit in there," I said. Though, in reality, Liar Lounge sounded exactly like somewhere I would have spent my nights in Austin. I poured Mr. Bouquet's coffee as Hyacinth went on. "Of course you would. A girl like you, all dark and mysterious, would be quite a hit there. Plenty of eligible bachelors in Eastwind. I assume you're single and looking, right?" "Corner!" Tanner's voice carried through the small diner as he flew out of the kitchen with a loaded tray. Liar Lounge didn't sound like somewhere he would be caught dead. Sheehan's pub was his go-to spot. "I'm single. Not looking, though," I said. "Did you already order?" "Yes," said Mr. Bouquet. While Hyacinth was as whimsical and verbose as elves came, James Bouquet was your typical taciturn werebear. He wasn't here for the conversation. He was here for the food. They made an odd couple, but from what I'd gleaned, they'd been together for decades, even though it was impossible for the two species to have children. They could have split at any time, but something held them together. More power to them. Who was I to judge anyone about relationships anyway? Mine had never been a great success, and the one man in Eastwind I had my eye on didn't seem to have a clue about it. Although, in Tanner's defense, I was exceptionally talented at not showing my cards, especially in romance. The tinkle of the front doorbell coincided with a shudder crawling down my spine, and I didn't have to look to guess Ted was here for his new favorite lunch of a sunrise burger with a side of chili sweet potato fries. Honing my skills as a psychic medium was useful when it came to helping lost spirits cross over, but not so awesome when it came to Ted. As much as he claimed he was only the Grim Reaper during work hours, a powerful awareness of my mortality washed over me whenever he was within 50 feet. I hurried past him toward the back. "Hey, Nora," Ted said in a casual death rattle. "Oh, hi, Ted. There's an open seat at the counter if you don't want to wait for a booth." "Thanks. How's your—" I breezed past him, acting like I had something urgent to attend to in the kitchen. Because I did. It was called hiding from Ted and his awkward romantic advances. Because, as it turned out, Ted was into me, and I was very much not interested. The problem was that he was a nice guy. Unfortunately, he couldn't take a hint, and I didn't want to say anything cruel to him. Not only because being mean to a Grim Reaper is all kinds of unwise, but also because
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.